I want to call to order a meeting of the Rutherford County Regional Planning Commission for October 13th, 2025. We ask that everyone please stand at this time for a prayer and pledge of allegiance. We'll have it led this evening by Commissioner Jason Beavers.
Lord God, we just thank you for this opportunity tonight to serve our county, Lord, and to serve you. Father, we just pray for your blessings upon this nation and upon this county, Lord. And Father, we just pray for your wisdom tonight and in everything we do. We pray it all in the name of Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner, and everyone may be seated. Madam Secretary, we'll have our roll call and determination of quorum.
Jim Averwater.
Here.
Jeff Phillips. Present. Mike Cush.
Present.
Lee Bogle. Charlotte P. Trey Gooch.
Here.
Jim Thompson. Here. Michael Shirley.
Here.
Jason Beavers. Here. Amber Brown. Here. Pettis Reed.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. We need to have now our approval of our minutes for September 22nd, 2025, and I'll ask that our Vice Chairman take care of that, Lee Bogle.
Thank you. The minutes for the September 22nd meeting are in good order. Therefore, I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion they be approved. We'll have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, they have been approved. Moving now, public comment period. Do we have anybody that has called in?
No, sir, we have not.
No one has called in for public comments. Moving to items withdrawn or deferred.
Nope, everything's on the agenda.
No items withdrawn or deferred. So move right into our new business, beginning with item A. This is rezoning, zoning ordinance amendment request. We'd like for you to remember that all rezoning regulation amendments requests will be considered at the November 13, 2025 Board of Commissioners meeting unless deferred or withdrawn by the Planning Commission or the applicant. Item 1 is Caleb Gentry, REZ 25025. Location is 3698 Chevelbowl Pike. Commissioner district is Michael Cush. Size of site is approximately 2.7 acres. Tax map is 136 parcel 29. Existing zoning is residential medium density RM. Proposed zoning is commercial services. Mr. DeMasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you, and good evening, everybody. The applicant proposes to rezone this property to use as a fence business. He would like to construct a small office near the front of the property and then use the back portion of the property for material and equipment storage. You will see that there is a concept plan that has been submitted for this application. The concept plan that you're seeing on the screen right now is also on your iPads. It's not part of your agenda packet. We didn't get this until a little earlier today. It pretty much mimics what the applicant had proposed in his application, which is in your agenda packets on your iPads. But this is a little bit more of a formal drawing, kind of showing you what it is that he is proposing to do. As you can see, the property does have frontage along Shelbyville Pike. Any new or improved access points would have to have TDOT approval since Shelbyville Pike is a federal/state road. Of course, if this were to be approved, there would have to be an engineered site plan that would have to be submitted to our office where we would verify that it met all the requirements as far as the site, as far as access, as far as parking, and those kind of things. Type 2 landscape buffer is required between commercially and residentially zoned properties. These buffer requirements would take place upon the redevelopment of the site. You can see that they are shown on the concept plan that you have on the screen and again on your iPads as well. This would also have to be verified on an engineered site plan. That would be part of the plan that we'd look at would be the landscaping of the property. Also, our performance standards would also apply to this. There are several non-residentially zoned properties near this particular site. One is directly across the street, across Shelbyville Pike. There's another located about 300 or so feet to the south, a couple tracks down that way. There's also several tracks to the north along Shelbyville Pike, north of Volunteer Road. They're in the Murfreesboro city limits. They're also zoned. You can kind of see on the aerial photo there. Those areas in yellow are actually part of the city limits, but you can see that there's a number of commercial type establishments in that area. We do feel with the existing non-residential properties, along with Shelbyville Pike being a major arterial, and also this property being within the county suburban character area, makes this a reasonable request. So with that, we will be happy to answer any questions. I believe, is the applicant present? Yes, okay, yeah, Mr. Taylor is here representing the applicant.
Commissioners, questions? Commissioner Shirley?
Thank you, Chairman. Doug, you mentioned that the buffer is indicated in our packet, but all I see is a brown line. Is that going to be a fence?
Well, if you look at the concept plan that's on the iPad, like I said, the concept plan on the screen and also on your iPad, it looks like they are showing a fence 15-foot wide type 2 landscape buffer with fence. That would have to be a privacy fence. So yes, they are showing that.
Okay.
This is conceptual, I will say that. So they will have to, they're not locked into this, but that is an option. They could do that, or they could do a 30-foot wide landscape strip without a fence. So either way would work.
Thank you. I had overlooked the on the iPad. Thank you.
Sure.
Other comments, questions for staff? If not, we'll ask that the applicant or their representative come forward this time. Good evening.
Matt Taylor of SEC, 850 Middle Tennessee Boulevard here at Murfreesboro. I've got my client, Mr. Caleb Gentry, with me as well. I think Doug did a good job going over the project, explaining the concept plan. I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you. Do you intend to use the off-site soils? It looks like that was on one of the other sketches.
Yes, sir. It was, they had granted, there's an existing off-site easement, and we would continue to use that same system as our anticipation.
Anyone else?
So Matt, you'll be using the existing house for an office, is that correct? No other buildings?
We're going to look at using the existing building, the existing home. Depends on how much it is to convert it into the commercial use, but that is the plan right now.
There's no intention to use it for rental property or employees or anything like that?
No, sir. It'd be office, or if it's too much, then it may get torn down and replaced, but it's no rental property.
Other questions, comments? If not, thank you, sir. We will now open it up for personal comments, public comments. I'll take this time to open this up. Just to remind you that anyone has any comments, either for or against, we'll ask that you come forward at this time. Use the podium right here. You'll notice that there is a timer there. You have 3 minutes. It has a green, yellow, and red light. It's just like down here on Broad Street. You'll have to use that light. Green keeps you going, yellow slows you down, and red will stop you. And we ask that you do stop at red. So take time about. Each one will come forward, and who would like to be first at this time to make a comment on this particular piece of property? Anyone? If there are not anyone, I will close the comment period at this time. Commissioners? Mr. Cush?
Mr. Chair, this property and request lies within my commission district, and I have received no calls for or against. I see that there are several similar commercial entities within the vicinity, and staff has also made the recommendation that this is a reasonable request. Therefore, I would make a motion to approve based on staff comments.
Motion's been made to approve. We have a second over here. Further comments? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Jim Overwater,
Yes.
Jeff Phillips. Mike Cush.
Aye.
Lee Bogle. Charlotte P. Trey Gooch.
Yes.
Jim Thompson.
Yes.
Michael Shirley.
Yes.
Jason Beavers. Amber Brown. Pettis Reed.
Yes,
Motion carries.
it has been approved. Moving now to item 2. It's Stephanie Hemyari, which is REZ 25024. Location is 1218 West Jefferson Pike. Commissioner District 2 is Stephen Piercy. Size of site is approximately 7 acres, tax map 36, parcel 2401. Existing zoning is planned unit development. Proposed zoning is PUD amendment. Mr. Demasi.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. The PUD for Macca Villa, also known as the Riverside Wedding Retreat, was an event venue that was originally approved by the Board of Commissioners back in November of 2022. Various type events are included at this facility, such as weddings, receptions, church functions, etc. The Planning Commission approved a site plan for the proposed wedding/reception barn and parking improvements back in March of 2023. A final certificate of occupancy was granted back in January of 24. The applicant is proposing to add a second building, this would be a ceremony chapel, to the property for wedding ceremonies. This will allow for indoor weddings should weather become an issue, and also dedicate the existing wedding barn for more strictly just for receptions, which would ease logistical concerns for having both weddings and receptions in the same building. The applicant's also proposing to add some other type events to the property, and I'll let her go into that in a little more detail regarding culinary classes, pizza pop-up events, on-site catering, and some other small events. The applicant has included a concept plan in the pattern book that does show the current layout of the property and the proposed building. The building will be constructed on the northern side of the property. You can see that on the concept plan that's in the pattern book. The building will be constructed, about 2,000 to 2,500 square feet in size. I would call your attention also to the pattern book. There's quite a bit of information in there, as there typically is. There is an existing driveway onto West Jefferson Pike. This entrance is not to be used for any of the larger events on the property. There is also a driveway onto Roanoke Drive that was approved and constructed as part of the original project, as well as the parking area. They're not proposing any changes to the access nor parking, although the applicant may wish to address that as far as what particular events may access what particular points of access onto either Jefferson Pike or Roanoke Drive. Landscape buffering is not changing as a part of this request, nor would the performance standards change at all. Most of the aspects of the venue beyond the building really aren't changing as far as what's proposed for the number of people that's being advertised for and those kind of things. We have reviewed the pattern book. We actually received the most recent update of it this morning from some leftover comments we had about a week or so ago. But with that, the applicant is present, as is the applicant's representative, and we'll be happy to answer any questions at this time.
Commissioners, questions or comments? This time, we'll ask that either the applicant or their representative come forward this time.
Thank you. Matt Taylor of SEC, 850 Middle Tennessee Boulevard here in Murfreesboro. Ms. Stephanie, my client, is with me as well. Doug did a good job going over our request. Essentially it is to allow Ms. Stephanie to better her business. She's been operating for about a year and a half now. And one thing that she has seen is that it is difficult to turn that same space between the reception and the chapel. And so this would allow her those dedicated spaces to make that a better experience for the bride and groom and all their guests. We did host a neighborhood meeting for this. We had, about 8 to 10 people show up. They were all either in favor or just wanted to know what the request was. And once they found out, they were very much in support. I think you'll hear a few of those same people here tonight. With her being operating for about a year and a half, she's developed a good relationship with most of her neighbors, I think. She has some of those that are friends. I think actually one of the neighbors actually works for her during the events. And, with this request, Ms. Stephanie is not trying to change any of her previous commitments. She's still using the off-duty cops and the security for her events. As Doug said, she has requested to add some small pop-up pizza events and some culinary classes. I think those sizes are still in the same line as what the original PUD allowed for, like tours and things like that. We're still not going to use the Jefferson Pike entrance for the events. That gets blocked off. That's really something that just Ms. Stephanie uses in her day-to-day comings there. The total guest count is not increasing. It's still capped at 100 here as well. hours of operation have not changed with this either. So other than that, I'll be happy to answer any questions. As I said, Miss Stephanie is here to answer anything that I may not be able to.
Commissioners?
Matt, if you could explain to us what this is for, really for, and why it's needed.
It's really to add a building that will be dedicated to chapels, so the ceremony itself. And so right now, with the building that she had constructed, she's hosting the chapel, hosting the ceremony, and then she's having to turn around and immediately after the ceremony, set it up for the reception. And so what this will let her do is have the ceremony in one building, and then they'll walk across a breezeway into the reception area. And so it really gives the two dedicated spaces is what it does. So no added guest, it just lets them go from one building to another.
If I can remember, Mr. Chairman, if I could remember right, I think there were some concerns and questions that related to noise and those type of things.
Yes, sir.
The original building was built to certain specifications. How about this one?
This will be the same. We're going to carry forth those same commitments in this building. Of course, this building's not going to have the music like the reception hall would. It will have music, you know, as you come down as the bride comes down. I don't remember the name of that song, but there we go. So, but it would still have the same commitments on those insulation and things like that.
Commissioner Overwater?
So Matt, tell me what a pizza pop-up is.
You know, I've never been to a pizza pop-up, so it is, I think essentially she makes the pizzas and they can pre-order and then they would just come pick it up and leave. It's not on an everyday basis. It's not like she can be open for lunch or dinner every day. So it's very much, you know, maybe she's got an opening in her schedule where she says, I can cook pizzas today. I think that's the intent. And so that would be a very limited basis. If you don't know, Miss Stephanie's family operated Joey's House of Pizza in Nashville for a number of years, and that's where that idea comes from.
So it's like an indoor food truck, sort of, kind of.
Yes, sir, I would say that's a fair statement.
So, Matt, this potential new building or chapel, it's not adding any parking, no need for additional parking, no facilities, no...
Correct.
Just a building.
Yes, sir. We'll have bathrooms inside of this building, and it'll connect onto the existing system.
Anyone else?
One more question, please, Mr. Chair, and I hope Matt can answer this. It might need to be answered by the owner of the property. But this house was built a very long time ago. And even houses that were built 30 and 40 years ago are having big failures in their septic system just because there were no inspections. And a long time ago, there wasn't much for bathrooms.
Yes, sir.
Now we have a commercial space on a septic system out there. Any idea how that's performing? Have there been any inspections by the environmental department?
So when we built the previous building, we actually designed and installed a new system. And so everything that is hooked up out there is on the new system. And so it's a year and a half old. I don't think you've had any issues with the septic. So all that was inspected by TDEC at that time. So we did not rely on the previous system. I'm not sure what the history on that was, to be honest with you, Mr. Overwater. And so for those same concerns, we went and mapped new soil and installed new tanks and new field lines.
Commissioners, anyone else?
Thank
If
you.
not, thank you, Matt. We'll now open for public comment period. Anyone wishing to come forward, either for or against, you'll have exactly 3 minutes. I think you have heard the process. So we'll begin, and anyone would like to come forward at this time, we'll ask that you do so. We'll need your name and address, so that we'll have that down. Good evening.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff Kroll. I live at 1339 Wilton Court. This property is 532 feet from our back door. Just to let you all know, so nobody can say anything, I am married to a constitutional officer in Rutherford County. My wife is the county clerk, okay? I'm not looking for any favors. I just want you to know that so it's not brought up later. So with 3 minutes, I had two ways to do this. Yesterday, the past couple of weeks, we've had a steady flow of people at our front door. One, mainly because my wife is part of the county, wanting to talk to us about what's going to happen, what's going on. And every time we would speak, we would say, you need to go. And nobody, this did not come from me. This came from the people that came to my front door, said there was no sense in them coming here to speak because it was corrupt and she was going to get it anyways. They didn't want to come up here and take their time to look at you guys, and then she gets what she wants anyways. It's there, and we can't do anything about that, but we should be able to do something about it going forward. So real quick, I'm going to talk to you about some things. Some of it's integrity, okay? The first time we were here, she stood right at this podium and said she would not touch that sign for our subdivision. She was a good neighbor. She did take that sign and took 2 4x4s and a piece of signboard and put us up a little ratty looking thing with some rock around it that one of the commissioners, and he's here now, laid the rock on that voted for this thing. And the traffic control, let me talk to you about traffic control. I go by there every day, 4 or 5, 6, 7 times a day. I'm self-employed. I'm a residential, commercial, and industrial contractor. When we go by there at night, at first, the sheriff's department was there. Now they're not. Now we got some rent-a-cops that come from Lebanon, and the flashing lights on top of their car, and you just said this a little while ago, somebody did about red, green, and yellow lights, and green means just keep going. The car that sits out on the road at the end of the driveway's got green flashing lights on the roof. The guy that's supposed to be directing traffic is sitting off on a bucket somewhere. There's never anybody out there directing traffic, okay? This Sunday when I came home from church and I was pulled in the neighborhood, I couldn't even get down the street because some guy in this big, long black SUV couldn't get in there because the driveway on Roanoke Drive has been blocked 99.9% of the time. It's got a great big fence now, but used to just have the sawhorses from the construction company out there. They use the other driveway all the time. And they're all pointed on their way out the driveway when it's over with. Boys, for me, here's what we need: a traffic study done by the state. I don't think any of us or any of you should be letting somebody dump traffic onto a state road without them doing a traffic study. And the guys that are doing the security, they're gone before these things are ever over with. I promise you I know that because I can see it. And they're gone when the drunk folks are leaving. They're not directing traffic at night when it's over with.
Thank you, sir. Next. Next. Yes, ma'am.
We live at 9007 Dandelion.
Just right there.
I'm Kathy George. We live at 9007 Dandelion, which is maybe one property over from the property in question, 2 properties. And just that our experience has been, we hear nothing, really. It's intermittent. Maybe there's 10 seconds of applause at the completion of a wedding. I don't hear any music. To be honest, what is more of a nuisance in the neighborhood is the constant dog barking and the engine noise from 266. So that's been our experience living nearby. Traffic concerns that were brought up, I haven't experienced that. We have 2 children that are active, and I'm getting in and out of the neighborhood throughout the whole weekend without an issue. So, and I actually had concerns about the parking and the traffic when this property came through the first time. and asked that we not have the driveway into the neighborhood, and it hasn't been an issue. So I will stand to say that it has been fine. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Opal Gilliam. I'm sorry I'm in such shape. I have a broken tailbone and I've had 2 broken discs, so I'm not in too good a shape. But I just want to let you know that all the things were said at the other meeting we had were not true. Exactly none of them. They've been the best neighbors I ever had, and I live exactly across the road. Not behind, but across the road, and not beside, right behind, right across. She sends me food. Her family is good to me. I've had no problems with traffic going in and out of there. I'm 83 years old and I drive to town when I want to, but I do be careful. And I just hope you can give her this. She's the most hard-working person I've ever seen in my life. So we need to love one another. And that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else wish to come forward at this time? Not seeing anyone, I will close the comment period. Commissioners?
So Doug, they're not asking for more capacity. They're just building another building for ceremonies, correct?
Well, correct. That and adding those other events that were discussed earlier, when Mr. Taylor was up here talking about the
Traffic should not change, correct?
They're not proposing any changes to what was approved under the pattern book for the occupancy. That's correct.
Mr. Chair, has the codes or anything received any complaints about this facility?
To date, we have not received any complaints about noise or traffic.
Now, I will say no official complaints have been made to building codes. That is correct. I have talked to several folks over the last few weeks that had some concerns with the noise. Obviously, no one's here speaking one way or the, I mean, there was one person that spoke a little earlier about some of that, but I did speak to some other folks that had some concerns about the noise and the traffic. So from my standpoint, yes, I have talked to some people. Now, nobody's made an official complaint regarding that to our building codes office for zoning enforcement.
Doug, were those concerns about the additional building or complaints about what's happened in the past?
I think it's about past events and things. I think their concerns were moving forward, is it going to get worse, I think. Some of the concerns that I had, people saying things like, well, for the most part, and I heard the one lady speak, said that, it may be just intermittent. Now, she does live a little bit further away, so there may be some folks that live a little closer that may hear that a little bit more. But, that's been a concern, or for some reason, like I said, I'm not out there when they're having these events. If there happens to be a door open or a window left open or something like that, obviously the sound's going to travel out. That's going to be more noticeable. They do have outdoor ceremonies right now, which I think is part of what the building is being constructed for. I don't think she wants to eliminate the ability to have some outdoor ceremonies and things, but I think that's been part of it, is some of the outdoor activities that have been going on.
Mr. Shirley?
Doug, did you all have a representative at the neighborhood meeting that was mentioned? And,
Yes, sir, I was there.
Can you give a summary of what you saw? Do you,
Pretty much what Mr. Taylor said was accurate. There was about 8 to 10 people. I don't recall there being anybody there who was opposed to it. Now, even before the neighborhood meeting, I spoke to one of the neighbors who said they probably weren't going to go, but didn't like the idea of what it was that they were proposing. But, you know.
Thank you.
I got one question, Doug, just for my peace of mind. The footprint of 7 acres. If any other citizen out there wanted to build a pole barn or whatever, I think you said 2,000 square feet. Is this tract big enough if any other neighbor wanted to build a 2,000 square foot addition, if they had 7 acres counting the property?
Right. The amount of detached accessory space is based on the size. If it's less than an acre, you can have 2,000 square feet. If it's more than an acre, it's a sliding scale. It's based on 5% of your total area. Now, since they're asking for a planned development, they can kind of craft that to what they feel their needs are, so that wouldn't necessarily apply in this situation.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for our codes director, please. Ms. Bell, so if they're using this main house, the original structure, for guest overnight stays, did they have to upgrade all that with the smoke detectors, sprinkler systems, and emergency exits and all of that sort of thing, handicapped and whatnot?
So the code permits for up to, I'd have to go back to the code and verify this for sure, but up to about 5 guests without it being converted to a bed and breakfast type facility. So they can rent it out by the room for the wedding venue as it stands today, as it is a residence. Anything beyond that, then yes, they would have to bring it up to, it would have to be a change of use and approved by this board or this body and move forward with that. I think that's BZA, is it, Doug? If they were to do a bed and breakfast type facility?
I believe that's correct,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry, my mistake. So to answer your question, they can have guests stay there, and we would not have to go in and verify any kind of life safety. They would be a guest of the owner of the home. It's my understanding that the owner lives there. I don't think she rents it out. I could be wrong, but it's my understanding that she lives on site in that house.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Could the owner speak to the traffic concerns that the first speaker spoke of? As far as it started out with the sheriff's department, then people who don't even care.
That I'm not, I mean, personally myself, I'm not, I know when.
As I said, could the
last
owner come up and speak to that? My question.
Do you want her to come forward? An applicant? Okay, we can ask the applicant to come forward if that's what you're asking for. Sure.
Hello.
Thank you, Ms. Stephanie. The first speaker spoke that at first the sheriff's department was doing traffic control.
Off-duty blue.
Probably off-duty. They was probably doing a pretty good job.
Yes.
But now you have another
Yes.
vendor doing that.
Yes, I can explain why.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
Off-Duty Blue has an office in Texas, and they're the ones that control their coordination with schedules. And it's kind of like if you've ever got like a ship shopper or something, they'll pick up the shift, and then if they drop it, then you're not getting your stuff delivered. Well, that would happen to me. I would have an Off-Duty Blue officer scheduled for a wedding, and sometimes they would just drop it. So I would be like freaking out. Why don't he didn't show up. Well, so I gave them a few chances, and then finally they said they couldn't control it. So I'm using Elite Security. That's the name of the company. His name is Bo, and he does security and traffic control. So, yeah, nothing's changed that way. I just had to let them go because they weren't reliable. So it was Off-Duty Blue, unfortunately, wasn't reliable.
But you still have someone
Absolutely.
out there that
Every
is
time.
staying until the whole event is over?
Yes.
All that?
Yes.
And that's what I was going to ask. How long do they stay? So is it
let's say the wedding's over, the traffic is cleared, how long, once the traffic is
Well-
cleared, do they stay?
So with the weddings, usually they die out kind of early, like not everyone's there till 10 o'clock when the music is off. So the officer is usually there at least till around 9.
And then I do have another question for you. I
Yes,
was
ma'am.
trying to wrap my head around the pop-up. It does sound like it's going to be sitting there, that food truck.
It's
Is
not
that-
a food truck.
It's not a food truck?
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
I'm
No,
trying
ma'am.
to.
So we specialize in all the catering on site. That's our passion. We make all the food out of this venue for every event.
Okay, so the pop-up is that's something secondary to the
Yes.
catering that you have?
Yes, it's not happening during events, and it's just more like a passion project, to be honest, kind of like a pre-ordered thing where we make pizzas fresh on site. So we have a lot of very loyal customers that really love our pizza.
So this is separate from the events that you will have? That's a different set of traffic that will come from that, correct?
Correct, but it's only limited to about 30 to 40 people at a time. It's not like open to the public.
But it is an event, correct?
Yes, but it's a small event, and it would only be limited to, maybe 40 times a year.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am.
If I may, Mr. Chairman. Stephanie, can you talk a little bit about, we talked a little earlier about the website that we saw online,
Yes.
about that. I mean, I understand you say it's not open to the public, but if there's a public-facing website, could you kind of reconcile that for me?
Yes, so it's kind of like a pizza bake sale, to be honest. It's like, you make a certain amount of stuff and then you're out. And it's not every day, and it's more like you have a pre-order, they come pick it up, and they're off the property, and that's it.
So could this pop-up be happening at the same time as a wedding?
No,
Because I
ma'am.
know there's not an increase of traffic, but it would
No,
be
ma'am.
if it's happening at
I
the
would
same
never
time.
allow that. No, ma'am. We take our weddings very seriously.
I think what I'm hearing is you've got a very successful business out there.
Yes, sir, thank God.
You are probably already doing the pizzas and it's popular and you're wanting to make sure you're doing it legally, I guess.
I'm sorry, sir?
You are probably already doing pizzas if you got a good following coming to get them.
We make pizzas at all the events, yes.
You just want to make sure it's above board.
Yes. I'm sorry, what did you say, honey?
You're just wanting to make sure it's above board in the future. If somebody sees somebody coming in and picking up pizzas.
Oh, yes,
we're all good.
we just want to be on the up and up, Yes, sir.
So if I may, before I ask you a question, I want to ask staff a question here. So did the original plan call for 2 off-duty officers and a security guard during events? My recollection.
It was something to that effect, and she specifically put that off-duty blue, I think is what it's called. Now, as part of the amendment, we discussed changing some of that language, especially if that particular firm is no longer doing it. I said, you need to put something in there, just generalize it a little bit more. Yes, I'm going to have traffic control and leave it at that, as opposed to a specific firm. In the event she ever decides to change or something in the future, then she doesn't have to make a change to the pattern book.
Well, I don't know what off-duty blue is. I'm assuming that's kind of like a rent-a-cop for a few hours.
They're off-duty officers.
Okay, so, but you are now going to be using Elite Security.
MTSU uses them.
Well, I mean, that's great. They have MTSU as a customer, but are these off-duty officers? These are real police
Yes,
officers
they are.
that will be working?
They are,
So they're
yes.
licensed and properly trained then?
Yes, they are.
So I have a question about the house. I think the only reason that I supported this the first time around was...
I don't think you did, actually.
Perhaps I did.
You didn't.
Perhaps I did not. But if I
did
did,
not.
I would have supported it to make sure that the house was preserved.
Yes, that's why I want to build the chapel, because we want to put bridal suites in the chapel so that no one can utilize my home to get ready anymore. And by the way, I've never had anyone spend the night there. That was just an option I wanted to give, but I decided I didn't want to do that from the beginning.
So my question is, As far as the home goes, what have you done to preserve this house long-term?
Sure, I'll let you
Have
know.
you done some structural work and that sort of thing to make
Yes.
sure that it's going to last?
I would love for you to
100
come
years?
by and see it. It's gorgeous inside and out. We've completely restored all the balconies, the porches. We've repainted the entire home inside and out. We've done a lot of foundational-ish, I don't know the exact term, but we fixed a lot of foundation around the baseboards of the house so that moisture doesn't come in. And we've done everything we can do.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Shirley.
Doug, can you point me to, in this packet about traffic not exiting directly onto Jefferson Pike, but using Roanoke? Because I think that was one of the complaints that the speaker had, was that people were using,
Go to the first-
and directly
Yeah, we can try that. Mike, go ahead.
exiting.
Yeah, let me try. Seems like
Does a hired security service have the right to stop traffic on Jefferson Pike to get people off of Roanoke onto Jefferson safely? I guess I'm confused about that part.
Should we open up the map so he can see how we do it?
Well, we'll do that in a second. In the pattern book, you've got the front. Are you seeing what I'm seeing on the screen right now that I've got highlighted, Mr. Shirley?
Mm-hmm, I see
Okay,
it.
the front entrance of Jefferson Pike will not be used and remain gated off during a wedding event. It doesn't really mention anything about the, like the pop-up events and things like that. It seems like there's another spot where it's mentioned.
Oh, Mr. Damasi, can you please show the chapel with the ceremony? Thank you.
It sounded like, to me, that one of the speakers was concerned that when the cop or security, whoever you were using, was stationed at your driveway onto Jefferson Pike, that people were using that as an exit. Are you willing to just do away with that entrance altogether and just use Roanoke? Because I see you have a very improved entrance there on Roanoke.
That's my private entry by the mailbox. We don't use that for weddings. That's where the officer parks his car. Well, off-duty officer parks his car is by the mailbox.
So you're saying that no one
No.
until 10, you said your
it's
police
closed
officer
off the
sometimes
entire
leaves at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But your music goes till 10. So who is ensuring that that exit's not being used from 9 to 10?
Yeah, we have it blocked off. We have sawhorses right there, and we also have parking lot attendants that remain the whole time. They're not off-duty officers, but we have parking lot attendants. Because at that hour, there's only maybe 10, 15 cars at max.
But at that hour, it could also be more confusing, more traffic if somebody were to get by them. You know, I guess what I'm just wanting to make sure that the pattern book states that you're not going to use for any commercial activities. You're not going to use that exit, period.
We don't, no, sir.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to show you on the map, like how we do it, if you'd like.
I mean, I know how you block off a driveway, so.
Okay, I just
yeah.
didn't know if I could show you how because we also put out signs, you know, like temporary signs that say wedding with an arrow that help everybody. We put out 2 signs.
Are you saying that speaker is mistaken, that no one ever uses that exit during an event?
No, no one ever uses the private entry.
What about for the pizza pop-ups and things, Ms. Stephanie? I know,
So-
again, we talked about that a little bit earlier today, too.
With that one, that was, I mean, it was such a...
Talking to them.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yes, we will use the side entry as well for those pizza pop-ups.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, and just correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, sir.
No traffic beyond your personal vehicles, you're, using this as your home. That's the only vehicles are going to be using that. You're not going to be using it for any of your pop-up pizza
Yes.
classes, for your culinary classes, or
Correct.
for any of the events.
Yes, sir.
Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Yes.
So here we are on Street View in the daytime. We have sawhorses out. Mike, can you go to Jefferson Pike and see what that other entrance looks like?
That's not updated though, right? No.
I mean, yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, this is 24, and it doesn't tell you what time of day it is. So, or even what exact day it was.
So when someone types in your address
Yes, sir.
on their Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, whatever,
Takes you to the side.
is it going to take you to Roanoke?
Yes, sir.
And it's not going to take somebody to this?
Yes, sir.
So I see we have, I guess what would make me feel better is if you don't want to lose your access there, are you willing to put in a gate?
Sure.
An automatic gate?
Sure.
Could that be a part of this approval?
Maybe not automatic, but yeah.
Some sort of a,
Cha-ching.
because that's a very large entrance off of Jefferson Pike.
It's actually, it looks bigger than it is, I promise you. But I know what you're saying. It takes you to the side. Because even like when my friends or family come, let's say, and I don't have the side gate open, they're like honking, open the gate. I'm like, no, just come to the regular, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that Google Maps is pretty on legit. They're going to take you where the main entry is.
You're calling the main entry of Roanoke, on Roanoke.
Yes, sir. Where the black gate is now. Have you seen the updated black gate? It's in the existing current conditions on your laptop. So we slide it open whenever we're having events. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Automatic gates are really expensive. I've just done 3.
Listen,
I was just talking like the TSC, it's not that bad. That's what
but that's a 25-foot gate. It's, yeah. Could we please, I'm sorry, Mr. Doug, can we please put the example of what I'm trying to propose so everyone can get a better idea? What happened to the microphone?
You are in a microphone. That's a bubble microphone.
okay.
It's all
I don't like
around
this
you.
'cause I
You
gotta go like
You
this.
don't have to bend over for that. Just stand up straight where you are.
Okay. Okay, so here's an example. This is a very wonderful event center, wedding center called Venue at Birchwood. It's in Spring Hill, Tennessee. They're an inspiration to the wedding business because this is what every bride wants. Every bride wants a stress-free environment, a stress-free day. You can't get married outside in Tennessee without worrying about the weather. You just can't. I mean, it'll say it's going to be beautiful and then you're going to be in a torrential downpour. So you see how this chapel is connected by a breezeway to the existing reception hall? This is exactly what I'm trying to do, but mine will have to be behind my building because that's where I have the property to do it. So it will pretty much be identical to this, but of course, not identical in the looks of the material and all that, but the concept. The concept is the exact same. You get married inside the chapel, which is on the right. You have your guests and everybody walk over and go into the reception hall for dinner. Pretty simple, but, you know, I have to explain it. Do you have any questions about, like, the idea or why I want to do it?
So just to be clear, you are willing to put some sort of a gate on
Sure,
your
I've
private?
always wanted to do that, but I thought I maybe couldn't because of fire code.
But we could.
Fire
that could be-
code.
that you could close off during your events and with a little arrow that says, you know,
Sure.
go to Roanoke. Okay.
Sure, I'm happy
Thank
to do that. But like I said, I know very well, because I've gone through this whole process with building an event center, there's a lot of codes. There's a lot of little fire marshal codes and all that, so if he's fine with it, I'm fine with it.
Are you suggesting that gate be on the Jefferson Pike entrance on that one right there?
It seemed to me that that was one of the major complaints from one of the speakers. And what she is saying, from what I understand, is that that's where the traffic security guard was stationed to block that entrance, to force people to go around to Roanoke. And that's also what's located, or what's listed in here as a part of this plan is that all traffic would be off of Roanoke. So putting some sort of a gate that can be shut during these events to prevent people from using that as an entrance is a reasonable ask. And if she's willing to do that, then that would tilt me towards being in favor of this request.
So whoever makes that motion, it has to be within that motion.
I will make the motion to approve this request with the notes in there from that applicant that she's willing to put in a gate there.
We have a motion made to approve with a gate on Jefferson Pike. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Further discussion? Ms. Stephanie, you may sit down if you'd like.
Thank you.
Further discussion?
So, Mr. Chair, is this a motion to approve this whole project, or is this just
There was a motion made to approve this with the addition of that gate.
I'm going to have to vote against it for a couple of reasons. This Roanoke is a side street to a neighborhood. It's a neighborhood street. It appears to me it doesn't go anywhere else. And we're talking about adding Monday through Thursday plus weekends of additional events that are going to come in, including picking up food. So it's almost turned into a little restaurant, to-go kind of restaurant. And you're just adding more people to a situation that we know is a traffic issue. We beat this thing to death last time when we approved it. Now we've got kind of bracket creep here. This thing's growing bigger and bigger, and I'm quite concerned about that.
Okay.
You know, I'm struggling with the motion of forcing a fence up. I've got a business person here trying to run a business. And man, I'm telling you, Jim, I live right next to what's known about 2 miles down the road as Lucky Land. About 900 cars in and out of there every day, and they make it just fine. It seems like we're putting a burden on the business person that's got 100 people that they're doing. Now they're talking about
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If we could go back to the driveway from West Jefferson, it seems to me in looking at that the gate would be some distance from the road where people may not see the gate at first and pull in, and now there's a gate, now they got to back up, they got to turn around, which would be more dangerous. Yeah, where would the gate be on that picture? Right there? So you see, my concern is people will pull up into the driveway, see the gate, now they got to turn around, which would be more dangerous than just going on into the driveway. Does that make sense, anybody?
Yeah, I think the sawhorses serve the purpose.
I think the mandate for the gate will be counterproductive to what we want to achieve. I think if she wants to put a gate up, that should be her decision. I don't think government needs to be talking about a gate that could compound the problem and not really solve the problem.
Mr. Chair, these are all really good points that I did not take into account. So if it's okay with the commission, I would like to withdraw my second.
A motion to withdraw the second. You want to withdraw your motion, or? Without a second, you will. All right, we're back from the start again. What are we?
Make a motion we approve with staff comments.
I didn't get that exactly. I think we had right back here. We just had a motion to approve. Is that what we?
You said motion to approve, subject to
Motion
staff
approved.
comments.
I was
and-
over here dealing with this one, then I got this one over
Yeah.
here.
So Jason, I think, made the motion. Jim, was that you that seconded it?
Jim seconded. I knew it was right in here, these two. Okay, we got a motion to approve, and then we do have the second.
I have a question.
Okay.
Doug, how, under the current under the current plan for this event, how many events could they have in a calendar year?
Well, with the PUD, they're not really limited per se. Their pattern book, I'm trying to remember if it even had a number in it at this point. I don't remember without going back and taking a look at the first few pages. The only time a limit really comes into play with event venues is if you're over 10 acres and you're doing less than 30 events. You can do that through the Board of Zoning Appeals as opposed to going through the rezoning process. We usually counsel people if they feel they're going to have more than 30 events, even if they have more than 10 acres, that they need to just go ahead and do the rezoning. This didn't have a choice because it was less than the 10 acres anyway. But I don't think they're limiting themselves to any specific number.
Is it fair to say that if she had the business or the demand, she could have 200 events in a year under the current PUD?
Yes.
So if she's mostly operating on the weekends for weddings, this pop-up, allowing the pizza pop-ups is not potentially going to be increasing the capacity of events that she could host in a yearly basis?
Not on the weekends, no.
Or during the week. I mean, she
Right.
could rent it out and do Wednesday weddings if she wanted to, right?
I think she put in there that primarily her events are on the weekends, that these other little pop-up events and things would be Monday through Thursday, if I remember right. Mike, can you go back to the front of the pattern book? Yeah. Yeah, scroll down just a little bit.
Other discussion on the motion?
The other way, the other way.
If not, Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Yeah, there it is.
Jim Averwater,
No.
Jeff Phillips, Mike Cush,
Aye.
Lee Bogle,
Yes.
Charlotte P. Trey Gooch,
Yes.
Jim Thompson, Michael Shirley,
No.
Jason Beavers, Amber Brown, Pettis Reed.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion has carried. Remember that all rezoning regulation amendment requests will be considered at the November 13, 2025 Board of Commissioners meetings unless deferred or withdrawn by the Planning Commission or applicant. Staff reports and other business. Mr. Moss.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing further. Thank you.
No other business is at this time. We are adjourned.